Peace, peace, peace. Hope everybody's doing well. Please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. Today's topic will be Happy New You in the observation of 2021. So going back a little bit in retrospect, 2020, the observation of 2020 was very tumultuous for many of us. We lost a lot of loved ones, people that we cared about, friends, associates. Most importantly, we lost our civil liberties that we have, not freedoms, but liberties. You know, the ability to assemble in a venue of whatever, movie theater, club, concert, whatever, arena. You're no longer able to pack those areas, right? So the liberties that we take for granted in 2019, 18, 2017, going back to the 80s, 70s, whatever, was completely stripped from us. Right? In 2018, 2017, in our observation, if somebody had came and told you that these liberties could be stripped, you would have told them, get out of here. You'd call them a liar. But these things actually manifested and came to pass. So there's many things to be thankful for. Health is ground zero, first and foremost. Without that, you don't have anything. So happy new you, right? Because it is you that is observing these phenomenons, these atrocities, right? This whole global shift in the planet. And as time moves forward, time meaning the observer seeing the change in observable values, happy new you, right? So to be able to project what it is that you want to see, you know, seeing things that we saw in 2020 was very rough. And moving forward, we want to be able to see a better day. You know, we have unseen hands, if you will, that's kind of navigating this in the direction that it's going. And we're all trapped in the middle of it. Nas said it best. He said, you know, deals made by God and the devils, and we in it. Pawns in the game can't complain or say, shh. That's what he said. I took those lyrics to heart back in 1999. He made that song with DMX. Life is What You Make It, I think it was called. And I see these things playing out in real time. So, happy new you. How do you make a better you in the midst of things going on around you that you really have no control over, but they're still being generated from your observation, right? So, your health first. How are you with your health? Are you working out? Are you maintaining a proper diet? How's your psychological regimen going, right? Those three things are very, very important to, you know, a better you, because the title there is Happy New You in this observation of 2021. So the actual year, the scale that we're using can't necessarily do anything. You have to do the work. This is the story of you. You know, it's the you and I verse that creates this projection around us. How do we make the projection that we want when there's an unseen hand that's also navigating us in a direction to make us observe what we're observing? You know, there's a lot of pain. And then it's, you know, it's really subjective to each individual, because some people are making out big in this pandemic, plandemic, whatever you want to call it. These billionaires have multiplied their billions to the point where they're almost trillionaires right now, while a lot of us are dirt poor right now. The $600 stimulus check that they're proposing, when you do the math, it's only like $1.84 per day that each person is going to get. If you're going to go by 325 million Americans times 600, that's $195 billion. You had a $900 billion stimulus check. So where's the rest of that $710 billion going? Who's getting that? Why is it going overseas to other places, right? When they make their stimulus package, do we get that? No, right? So how do we project a better projection out here, which is Happy New You in the year 2021? Because we saw what 2020 brought as observation. Observation precedes the phenomenon. not the phenomenon precedes the observation. So the collective observation is what's putting this stuff out there, and of course is being guided by a group of observatories or observers that's manipulating, or we call it the unseen hand. You know, I think it was a book written by Ralph Epperson that I have in my closet that I read back in the 90s about that. So a lot of these things that I read is coming to pass and manifesting, and it's no debating whether these things are real or not. See, the funny thing about reality, it doesn't care what I believe or my opinions are, what my faith is or yours. It just does what it do, and you just have to make the adjustments around it. Reality steps into the room and knocks opinions and beliefs out of the room. And what we normally do is we makeshift and we shift it in a different place in the room and says, well, my opinion still has relevance in conjunction with the reality. But reality doesn't care anything about what I believe or what you believe, right? Respectively. So it's just a point of view or perspective that I'm stating as we move forward, as we observe 2021. I'm not in 2021 the same way I was not inside of 2020. These things, you know, my mother had an ex-boyfriend, and he stated when I was young, I was maybe 19 years old, he said, the life is not in the day, but the day is in the life. And that stuck with me. I was 19 years old. That was 1994, right? He said the life is not in the day, but the day is in the life. So it's the observer projecting the day, but it's also being manipulated by a certain group of observers who's manipulating the other observers. And now they're getting more wealthy and calcifying their wealth while we're handing our children hope, beliefs, and a job, right? So, you know, these things have to change, and we have to do better. When you know better, you do better, and then it becomes a happy new you and the generations to follow you. So the sins of the father don't land on the children or the seeds, if you will. You know, we don't horizontally transfer our mishaps to our children, respectively. You know, none of us are perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. Nothing that is alive is perfect. But how do you produce a better you, right? In observation of the year, because the Gregorian year of 2021 is a scale. It's useful for structure and you know, to document, to set a barometer for what is actually happening and saying that this happened on this date. I think it was July 21st, 22nd. I've mentioned this in previous videos where Jeff Bezos made, I forgot how many million it was in one day. Might have been 13 million. Don't quote me on it. I forgot. It's kind of foggy in my mind, but I said it in my previous video when it was fresh in my mind, and I was observing these things and doing my studies, doing my due diligence, and doing comparison and contrast, and seeing how this whole thing is playing out. Divorcing my personal opinions and beliefs, seeing how it's playing out, and trying to align myself in conjunction with what's playing out and what's reality versus what's falsehood, right? This is high observations. Critical thinking reigns supreme, right? So my personal beliefs, my school of thoughts, which was many that I was a part of, have nothing to do with this observation. It can help me as a scale, yes, where I can quote from that particular school of thought and that master teacher, all respect due to them. But at the end of the day, it's only one observer. You know, and when you say there's many other observers, that statement alone still comes through your observation. If you say, no, that's not true, there's many other minds, there's many other observers, you still have to go through this avatar, right? With its own perceptual measurements and perceptual tools to make that estimation that there are other observers. So it still comes from the one observer to know that there's many other observers, right? This is happy new you, to free your mind, respectively of what you were told, right? So we use everything as scale. We use everything as acquired information to get an understanding of what's happening around us, to get an understanding of self, to get an understanding of all the moving parts as they keep moving. You look away for a second, 3 seconds, you come back, 5 moves them was already made on the chessboard. So now you have a whole different game. The variables as they shift, the moving parts as they shift. And then you have to make your adjustments because you're playing a game that's stacked against you. Nothing wasn't handed down to most of us, right? Me included. So, in order to make sure that that doesn't happen to the generations to come, so we have to see this for what it is. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Marty Grace too, man. You know what I'm saying? We had a great conversation the other day when I saw him, and I told him, I said, he's doing great things. Great businessman. Salute. And I told him, I said, we have to put our personal core beliefs to the side and begin to aggregate our thoughts, resources, and what's the best solution that we see. Remember, it's PRS, problem, reaction, solution. Speaking about the problem, we see what the reaction is. Now, what is the solution? We cannot come to a definitive solution unless we put our schools of thoughts to the side to begin to move forward, to make a happy new you as we observe 2021 and the years to come on this Gregorian calendar that we follow, that we're under. Now, I don't want to get into the history of the calendar. That's a whole nother story. But we're using it as a barometer or scale to measure what? Progress or regression. Progress versus regression. Are we regressing or are we progressing? Which one? Are we still trapped in old concepts and thoughts that we see what the outcome and results are, or are we creating a new paradigm in order to move forward to see more advancement in our people, right? So get your mind right, get your diet right, get your health right, get your finances right. Find people around you who are on a similar frequency. You don't have to have the same core beliefs as long as it's respective, right? We're respectful and we're trying to move forward to better our grandchildren's grandchildren down the road. So they don't have to go through what we're going through, if that makes sense, right? So with all that being said, I just want to drop a quick bell. Today is January 1st, 2021. First day of what we call the new year of the Gregorian calendar. So with all that being said, let your last endeavor be your best endeavor. Let your last endeavor be your best endeavor. Pool your resources with like-minded people. You don't have to have the same beliefs or opinions, but we do have to come together to find solutions. We know what the problem is. We feel the reaction internally. Now, what is the solution? So, salute.